Hey, welcome back to Reddit Cheating Wife, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to the channel for cheating stories like this.
My 33 male wife, 32 female, said her ex's name while we were having. For the last 4 years, my wife and I have been married, and we have a 2-year-old kid. We had been dating for 3 years when we decided to tie the knot in May of this year. While we were having last night, she brought up the subject of her ex-boyfriend. She came up with a bizarre rationale for why this was happening. She said that it is a common name. In fact, it is a rather popular name, and that she had just heard it. At that time, I had no intention of getting into a serious argument with her. Because of this, I'm worried about why she did it in the first place. In order to provide some perspective, this was a guy she had been dating for a few years prior to my meeting her, and they met while in college and were in a serious relationship for a period of time after that. When I first met her, they had just separated and decided that they would be better off as friends. Before they began dating, they had been friends for many years. We started dating, but he continued to be a part of our lives. He was her best friend first and foremost, and I reluctantly agreed to it for her sake, even though I didn't want to. Several months later, I put my foot down and said that it was too uncomfortable for me to continue. There was some resistance, but she took a step back and walked away from the situation. Every time we separated, she was there with him. In the end, we were able to reconcile and tie the knot. He doesn't seem to realize what he's done and quickly ends his conversation with her. She seemed to be in distress, which should have served as a red flag. It came up in conversation, and she expressed her delight at having chosen me. As a result of what has transpired, I'm tempted to inquire as to whether she has reunited with him at this point. Because I saw the laptop searches, I know she looked in on his social media accounts. She is completely unaware that I am aware of this. Despite the fact that I don't think she would cheat, this guy was always out of the norm for her. Do I simply go up to her and confront her? Is it okay for me to start looking through her phone? Is it just me, or do I have a paranoid streak? Update. When she was asleep, I was able to get access to her phone. She must have forgotten that I was aware of the truth. There was nothing in the mails and no unusual phone calls. As a consequence, she decided to delete them. I did notice numerous programs she sought to keep hidden, such as Snapchat and Kik, which she had attempted to keep hidden. They're all gathered together, having a debate. In addition, photos are included. As proof, I took shots of everything using my smartphone. She came out laughing as we were having a conversation and ran off with our child to her mother. I hired an attorney and am now in the process of divorcing my husband and deciding custody of our children. Everything inside of me is filled with sadness and anger. In addition to being enraged with her, I am also enraged with myself for having ignored so many warning flags. ETAs, the conversations I overheard, confirmed that they were having an extramarital affair. The photographs were ones that they were exchanging and included many that were completely nude. Story 2. I'm happy she cheated. It's been 6 months since my D-Day, which is today. Although I tried for 4 long months, enduring agony and anxiety, I was unable to get our 19-year marriage back together because she just continued to lie and deceive. As a consequence, I decided to leave. It is expected that the divorce will be completed tomorrow, barring any last-minute procedural delays. Since the invasion of Normandy, life has been a horrific roller coaster ride. The first few months of my existence were the most difficult of my life's experiences, without a doubt by a long shot. Following that, there was a series of false hope highs followed by a series of successive lows. It was one of the happiest days of my life when I was able to notify her that everything had been completed. Her actions, as well as the people with whom she interacted, were no longer my business. That felt and continues to feel wonderful. It had a profound impact on the quality of my life in ways that are difficult to articulate. In a way, it indicated to me for the first time that there were deeper trust issues than simply this one incident. Obviously, the divorce has resulted in a considerable alteration in the relationship. Having my first night's sleep by myself since 1997 has been an unusual experience. It is not the same as binge-watching pointless television shows. Having her around for emotional support and to contact when good and bad things occurred had been rare. But now she was gone. Having 5 tiny children as a single parent has kept me busier than a bee throughout my life. My ex-girlfriend is still sofa surfing at her AP place, which does not have any room for kids. As a consequence, I'm always surrounded by them. A number of things have proven to be really challenging. I've started dating a little bit, and the biggest challenge I'm experiencing is keeping things light and casual. Women seem to be driven by a desire to fall in love and commit to a relationship immediately soon. That is something I am not yet prepared to deal with on my own. When I'm ready to start looking for something more serious, it is reassuring to know that there will be an audience for me when I am ready to look. For the last 6 months, I've been researching various topics related to me, such as relationships, emotions, etc. I have a decent-looking and fit 41-year-old guy with a good profession and a great house. I've taken a hard look at my own role in the marital difficulties, and although her infidelity is totally her responsibility, I can identify areas where I might improve. The main notion that has been going through my head today is that I'm relieved that everything took place the way it did. I'm relieved that she cheated, and I'm relieved that I finally made the decision to end the relationship. I'm learning that I wasn't as satisfied as I thought I was. Prior to the affair, I thought I and my husband were in a good place. However, now that we have the benefit of time and space between us, I can understand the difficulties. Her narcissistic behavior throughout the last 2 decades was documented. She was devoid of emotion on a consistent basis. I had ceased experiencing and expressing emotions since they were continuously confronted with a brick wall when it came to my relationship with her. The fact that I was always a giver, but she was never one, was the difference. She was constantly bringing attention to the fact that guys were hitting on her. What I found most disturbing was that she never expressed regret and was continually blaming everyone else except herself for everything, etc. For many years, I was completely unaware of what was going on. Since removing her from our daily life, the children and I have already seen significant improvements. Not only do our attitudes and behaviors have a link with one another, but they also have a connection with one another. We're happier, more open, and communicate considerably more effectively now than we were before we started this journey. Her affair was the most devastating thing that had ever occurred to me, and her adultery was the most tragic thing that had ever happened to me. I made a clerical error. I merely attempted to express my gratitude to her, almost. Story 3. Talked with the wife of the person my wife cheated on me with. So today, I told my 35 male wife, 33 female, of 14 years that I informed the wife of the guy that she was in a relationship with about what's going on. My wife met someone online and then met him in person while I was away for the Army in 2010. They had an emotional and not particularly physical connection, according to her. Our kid was a year old at the time, so I focused on the relationship and we got through her adultery. She maintains there was no intercourse, just caressing, kissing, and other such things when they first met. Fast forward another 10 years, and I discovered that they had reunited online and were planned to meet up while I was gone on a vacation at the beginning of August. So we've been separated since then, but with 3 children, we're trying to make things work. My wife suffers from mental illness and has had abuse as a youngster. So I realize that her acts are symptoms of what she's gone through, but I also understand why she makes the decisions she does. On Sunday, she requested that I assist her in ceasing all communication with this man. I've been supportive and helpful in order for her to regain her mental health so that the 2 of us can decide whether or not to continue our relationship or seek a divorce. I was reading some of the postings on this sub and saw a lot of remarks about informing the other side of what's going on. So I went online and discovered the wife of the man with whom she has been cheating on me. I contacted her yesterday and told her what her husband had been up to behind her back. We'll name her Kay. I sent Kay screenshots of their emails and text messages. Kate was clearly astonished to learn that this was going on, and that it had occurred in 2010, so I informed my wife about my talk with Kate today. My wife was really taken aback. I know she's not stable due of her mental condition, and she's told me she's not sure who she wants at this moment. I'm sure a lot of it was astonishment and shame for my wife, which Kay now knows. But I just want to make sure I'm not insane for contacting Kay and now contemplating divorce without my wife being in a stable mental condition, since her reply confirmed what I suspected. She cared more about their connection than ours.